Okay, hey everybody. I'm going to get a little weird again in Excel today. We're going to make this cool, crazy red sci-fi dashboard. We don't use a lot of red in data visualization because it has such strong associations with kind of like negative performance, but we're just having fun here. So I thought I'd make something cool like this. I'm going to show you the whole process, start to finish, from just kind of roughing out the idea to building this thing. It's a long one, so strap in, enjoy. All right, everybody, let's just hop into it and get building. I'm just going to kind of wing it on this one. And then do dark background. I'm just in Command A to select everything. I don't go a jet black background. I go something just like a really, really dark gray, typically. I'm going to start here by just inserting a shape. And I kind of want to do like a nice kind of dark theme that's in like a reddish color this time. So I'm just going to drop this line in. Obviously the color's not right, but what I really want to do here is edit the shape and then just start looking at what we're working with here. So ultimately, to do what I want to do, I need to be able to create a little central drop point. That is going to be a little tricky with this point editor they have here. Just because the points on this are not actually easy to get in exactly the position I want, and I can't seem to add a point either. But this is the shape I'm kind of going for, but I just don't want it to be shaped like that. I want the edges to be flat. So actually this might work. We might be able to get close enough. Y'all can hear my cat in the background probably. He really wants to come see what we're working on. Okay, so surprisingly, this is actually pretty close to what I was going for. Thought it was going to be a little more challenging. Here's Mo. He says hi. Say hi, everyone. He's a little meowy boy right now, so see if he'll stay put. Okay, so the only issue with this is I just need to extend out, because I'm going to be essentially putting a circle in this. But that right there is about right. Now the nice thing is, once we create this shape, I can kind of use it as the guide for our other shapes. For those who don't know how these kind of like spline editing things work, it's a little tricky, it takes a little practice, but just try dropping a shape in and going to the edit shape option and play with these. You'll get the hang of it. I don't think there's any way to learn it, honestly, other than just doing it yourself and testing it out personally. Okay, now I just want to insert a circle that is going to kind of block out our central graphic area here. Now what the circle is highlighting to me is that these curves are not perfectly even on both sides. It's going to drive me crazy looking at this being slightly imperfect, so I'm going to try to edit this again. I think really all I have to do is pull this one out a tiny bit. That'll basically do it. Okay, cool, great. Now, what do we want to do here? I want to give this just a really subtle glow in the center. So I'm going to give it a gradient fill. And then I want it to be center out. So we'll do the bottom one here. Radial is what this is as selected. Now, I don't know why it has given this gradient so many stops. That seems totally unnecessary. So we'll just do this. The center of this we want to be like a red. We also don't need that one. And we want it to be darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my color wheel for this. Now, you might not have a color wheel on your machine. If that's the case, you just use the sliders. I'm just going to make this darker, like right around here. Okay, and now the outer edge, I'm going to make the same color using my recent colors list and make it fully transparent. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, kind of a subtle glow. Okay, I kind of like that. It might need to even be a little more subtle than this, but that's like pretty good. And then for the outside edge on this, I think for the sake of our design, I'm going to give it a line and then make that line a little transparent. Maybe we'll give it a dash. No, I don't know if we want dashes in this. Maybe we'll do something like that. I'm going to make it a little thicker so it matches the other line. Okay, good. So we've got a starting point here. We're getting there. So I'm copy pasting this circle again, and I'm just starting to think about placement here. I'm going to get a version of this that has no fill now. Oops. That's just the line itself. I'm going to make it a little bigger. And you'll just notice in a lot of these sci-fi type designs, you'll just have these circles that have like multiple rings like this. Now for this one, see how I don't want the ring to kind of cross over down here. This looks messy on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give the line a gradient line. And the gradient line this time is going to be linear, top to bottom. And on one side, we're going to have the color we just had. And then on the other side, it's the same color, 100% transparent. Now, obviously, this is upside down over here. If you look, right, we switched it. So we got to switch it back. And I'm also realizing I need like this. There we go, something like that. Okay, so that kind of fades out. Now, you might have to adjust your gradient to get that line to disappear at the right spot. And that's what we're doing here is we're just adjusting this. The gradient is right where we want it. And in this case, I think I want it to kind of end like right around the line. So I'm actually going to bring this up a little. Something like that should work great. Love that. And then I'm actually going to drop this line down a little bit too, so that we see the spacing in between this line and this line. I want that to be about the same as this line and this line on the top. And that looks really good. And then this one, maybe we'll just tone it down a little too. Something like that. Great. Okay, so yeah, I like the way this is looking. I'm going to take this little guy here. I'm going to copy paste this again too and bring it down a little over here. Now here's the thing. Concentric lines like this get a little weird. So if we like drag this down, it doesn't quite look right. Like it can get a little funky. So just keep that in mind. You might need to stretch and distort things a little to get them to do what you want. But I think that's kind of how we're going to approach this. Is we're actually just going to stretch this out a little. Put it like right here. And then make it more transparent. Okay, just stretching this a little more. I'm going to hit the maximum size. Yeah, I already hit the maximum size. And what I'm going to do here, I didn't give myself any padding on the left. This was a mistake I made. Don't make this mistake. Always keep everything to the right of the A column, because that is what's going to allow you to control your padding when you need to later. So what I'm going to do here is, what I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to insert an A column just to push everything over, and then I can drag this over a little bit. Great. And now I don't have to worry about that width issue as much. I can put this right about here and make it more transparent. Great. Yeah, love that. Love that. That's looking good. And because I have these 3 parts here, what I might do now is actually add one more, right? Just to kind of mirror that. Sorry, you can probably hear my cats fighting with each other again. Hey guys, stop it. And again, same thing with row 1. We're just going to add an extra little bit of spacing up here so that we can adjust that. So the padding we need. Okay, yeah, that looks good. So this is looking pretty rad. I like that. What we're doing here is we're just kind of giving ourselves a base, right? This is the base we're going to use for the rest of our stuff. Now, I want a little more of a gradient background in all of this and a little more glow effect. So I'm just thinking about how I'm going to handle that. I think what I'm going to do is this shape here, I'm going to give a fill. I'm going to make that fill actually the same as our background color, wherever that color went. Was it this one? Yeah, that looks like it. I'm going to send that to the back. I'm right clicking and hitting send to back so that the layers, it's all the way in the back, actually giving it a gradient. So let's see what this looks like. Okay. Oh, I like it from the bottom. I think it looks better from the bottom. And then that's kind of cool. Now the problem is you see how it kind of cuts in there a little bit. We don't want that, but that might just be placement. If we bring it over, can we? No. Okay, so it's not going to be, we're not going to be able to get it fit perfectly there. That's okay. So what I might do is actually just do it just at the very bottom and then just do that very subtle glow up. Something like that might work better. Placement wise, obviously I'm gonna have to adjust this a tiny bit, but like that could work. And what that makes me realize is then these 2 other shapes need to be adjusted a little as well, so that our, there we go, so that everything's aligned. This has a fill. What I'm gonna have to do though, this is a transparent red. I need this to not be transparent for the next step. So what I'm gonna do actually is go here, and I'm gonna use my color picker to grab this color here, and then I'm gonna copy that. Good. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is instead of now it's 0% transparency using that exact same color. That's a good trick to have. Okay. That looks good. Yeah. All right. I dig that. So what I want is then this outside shape to have a glow, like very big for this, I think, and then very transparent. And we're going to put that behind everything. Now I just need to adjust a little here because we need some more padding on the top so this fits, but this should work. Oh, oops. I sent the wrong thing to the back. Let's try that again. Better. Okay. Something like that maybe? I don't know. That's a little too much, I think. And because I got so many things layered on top of each other here, I'm going to use a little trick, which is using find and select. And then using the selection pane to make sure that I have the right thing selected. Because I want the furthest layer back. This makes it very easy to select that layer. Yeah, I kind of like this. I just think the glow needs to be a little more like really transparent on this layer like that. And that's going to kind of work better. So in the center of this, I want to have some kind of cool, maybe sci-fi-y shape. I don't know if we have any that are really going to work in the shape menu here. Maybe we could try something like this. Maybe, I don't know. Let's just experiment with this one, see if it works. So what I've done is I've just added the shape in. I'm going to give it a no fill. Well, I'm going to test it out with a fill and without a fill, but I'm going to give it a glow. That's the most important part for this test. It needs to have a red glow, pretty big. and it's pretty transparent. So let's just see. The problem is that this glow is just not smooth enough. So it looks kind of weird if it's too big, but something like that maybe. I don't know, this could just be like the center section. Could work maybe. We'd have to think a little more about it. But for now, that'll be fine. If we're gonna make this work, we might need just to add in some supplementary stuff too. So I'm thinking like an extra line in here with the same styling as we did on that other section. So the same glow and then more transparent. And then maybe we obviously gotta make that line match the other one. I think that's 8-point width, but make it a little transparent and then copy paste it. Wait. Maybe we do it like this. Copy paste, drop it over here. I don't know, something fancy like that. We're just getting creative with it here. I don't know. And we could even like, then maybe drop in the same thing, but make it shorter. And again, I'm copy pasting every time here because it just makes life a little easier. Make sure you have the exact same thing. And if I want to make sure this is at the exact same height as this thing over here, I can just hold shift, select both, go to the, shape format tab, and just align top. And that's going to make sure that they're aligned perfectly. Okay, now I have this progress bar chart I wanted to use in here. This is the data for it, just some simple data. I'm going to go insert. This is going to be a regular chart, so we're just going to do a donut. And I actually have this saved as a template, but I'll explain all the design stuff here. Oh, you know what? No. Actually, 100. This needs to be half of a half size progress chart. So I'm actually I added an extra column that each one of the values is 100, and then I'm going to insert a donut chart again, and then I'm going to do the same thing, change chart type to that neon one, and then I'm going to cut this and paste it. I'm going to show you the logic behind what we're doing here. Okay, here's the chart. Obviously I need to resize it. So first things first, I want this just to be on top. So I'm going to go click on my chart, format data series menu over on your right here. And then my angle of the first slice needs to be 90, I think. 270? 270. Okay. So that looks that. Now I need to get rid of these bottom section. Oh wait, no, that won't work. How am I going to do this? I need the bottom sections to not show up. I also need all of these outlines that I incorrectly colored to not be there. So I'm gonna just change that outline color to our background color. I need to remind myself what the background color is. Okay. Oh, I think I actually already have the right line color on all these, so that should work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give these bottom sections a fill that matches our background color. I don't know if this is gonna work, so just bear with me. Okay, so that's definitely not dark enough. So instead what I'm gonna do on these is make them completely transparent and make them so they have a transparent line. That's gonna work better. Don't know why I didn't think about that in the first place, but that's clearly the easiest way to do this. Good. Okay, better. Let me shrink this down. I'm sure folks out there can kind of tell where I'm going with this already, but if you can't, all will be revealed in a moment. So I kind of want, see, we just have this awesome curve here, right? So I'm trying to think about how to work this into that curve on the outside. I'm just kind of sizing it until it looks about right, a little bigger, and you'll see here in a sec how we're going to do this. So, okay, so like something like that maybe. So I'm just doing all these in red. I'm just giving them a red fill color by clicking into the series and selecting a new fill color. Okay, so I'm trying to think now about how to kind of get this into the background, and I should be making sure these are all transparent first. Okay, so I think you now can all kind of see what I'm going for here. So, one option is to just make this way smaller. But if we make it way smaller, it's going to look a little weird in here. It would have to be so small to fit into that space. So I think we want it more closer to the outside edge size, maybe. The other consideration here, too, is you remember all these series? I might just need to remove that. And then it's a full circle. And that might actually just work a little bit better. And then adjust all my other sizing accordingly. Like so, and then bring this like this, and then all of a sudden the design starts to kind of make a little more sense overall. I don't know, I think this could be kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know, something like that could work. I think that's kind of fun. And as I'm doing this, I'm starting to wonder if maybe we don't even need this like weird funky center section. Maybe we just delete that and we do something else more interesting in the center here. I don't know, maybe do something like that. Kind of got that cool sci-fi look. I thought it would be cool to have like a really punchy something in the center here. I'm wondering what that would look like though. I would love to have just like a texture in there. I don't know if there's a good way to add in the kind of texture I'd want to add in there though. So like if I insert a circle and don't give it a line, change the color to red, and then give it a pattern fill. There are patterns. Now the problem is the background would need to be transparent. I don't know if we can do that in a pattern. I could do the background as our background color like that, but I would prefer that it faded out towards the edges and had more of a gradient thing going on. Oh, you know how I can do this? Just figured it out, folks. I have done a pattern fill, and then out here we've done soft edges. Anyway, that's how we get this kind of pattern here. Now I'm gonna just try a couple different ones. I want something more subtle like that. There we go. That's it. Is what I'm going for. Cool. I'm digging that. Okay, I'm somewhat happy with that. Now I'm also just thinking about other areas where we could drop in our charts and data. Think about the shapes we want to use for that. So we had this kind of shape we had before, right? So I'm like thinking about this. Now what if we, give it the matching background color fill, give it a red line, the whole shebang, send it to back. Yeah. So we could do something like that maybe for our section here. I think I can adjust the size of these little, like that. There we go. Get it to line up perfectly. Something like that could be cool. This then would have to come in a little bit though. Here. Again, so this line's not perfectly flat and it keeps jumping to these sections. So what I'm going to do is just go in here and set it to 0 height. And that fixes it. The only thing I have to do is maybe, I'm using the arrow keys on my keyboard to fine tune the position of it. Now these lines feel a little too busy. So like I might rethink these or like do something like this instead, and then like remove this one, and then actually it's going to look better if this is the same width as the thing below it, so I'm going to bring it to like right here, these kinds of things, right? Again, we're just adjusting as we go too. There's no hard rules for any of this stuff. We're just kind of feeling it out. What if we give this a glow? Let's try that. I wish I could just set red as the default glow color, but it doesn't let me. I think this glow then would have to be kind of big and really transparent for this part, like that. Something like that maybe could be cool. And then I don't know, I'm just trying to, oh wow, that line's not straight. So set the height to 0 again. And I'm probably going to have to do the same thing on this one. Yep, I don't know, something like that. It's kind of cool looking. And that gives us a section to put more data into. Now the question is, do we make it symmetrical over here? Let me just send this to back and see what this looks like. And let me zoom out so everyone can see better, okay? I wonder if this should just be a different shape. That's another option. Like we could do something kind of more dramatic like that with a hard edge or even a slightly blunt edge like that. But then if we did it kind of asymmetrical, I feel like this has to be in another position, like up here. And then we could do well, let me just copy paste this actually. Another one down here. Oh, it could hover over. That's actually kind of rad in a weird way. Like that maybe? That's kind of cool. We're kind of just like building up layers now and different sections to put data into. It's kind of taken in a different direction though, like a whole different vibe. I'm not sure if it's where I want to go with the design, but it's fun. Just thinking here, if I flip the shape, I'm using flip horizontal. That's under the shape format tab 2. That kind of opens up other possibilities here. Like this kind of thing. I don't know. Look, we're just playing around here. This is fun. This is a good base to play with. Let's just get some data in here too, just to kind of illustrate how that works. So insert tab, we're using text boxes, clicking and dragging to drop the text box in. Look, and first things first, I don't know why text boxes have to have that white background and an outline, but we don't want that. So we're removing that first. And then we're just going to put in some text. I'm just going to put in placeholder text. You can't see it because we have a dark background, so I'm selecting all, changing font color to white, and changing my font to something, I don't know, spacey. I'm going to drastically increase the size here. Just put section, title, space moving, add some characters in there or something, but I think that's fine. So some things we can do if we want to get fancy with our text. There's actually text options over here. People sometimes miss this. And this is, you can obviously do normal things to change your font color and stuff, but what we can also do here is make our font glowy and do all that kind of stuff. So I just need to make this color a little lighter, and then I'm going to try giving this a glow. I'm doing this once. I'm not going to do this every single time because it would take so much work to do this every single time. Just sort of a relatively transparent glow on this thing. there we go. I don't know, 12 point and then like mostly transparent, something like that. Now I can copy paste this, right? And then I have a section title I can use on everything else as well. I can change the font size. I can do whatever I want to it too. Kind of see what I mean there? So it's like super easy to do that part. Now, I don't know if we need like secondary text in this, but if we did, I might copy paste this, bring the font size way down. And then what I might do is like, to make it look more like secondary text, I might just make the color for it a little darker, and then take that glow down. In fact, maybe even remove the glow altogether or make it just like 1 point width or something. Like it's going to obscure the text. We don't want it making our text harder to read. If you're going to have a glow, it needs to not get in the way of your text's readability. And then so like we might do something like that for that secondary text. Now, how you align your text too can get kind of tricky with this stuff. You know, oh, I want my text to align left, but then it kind of goes over this way. So like, just stay open to playing with that kind of stuff, because you're not always going to get it right the first time. You might need to do some adjustments as you go. And now the nice thing is this font is so small that 2 lines is about the same height as the title area here. So we could do like that and have it kind of be roughly the same height too. You know, look, we got lots of options here. So for our metric, let's say we wanted to put a big metric in the center of this chart. What I'm going to do, I'll delete that. I'm going to go to the formula bar. I'm going to hit equals. I'm going to head over to our data. Let's say we've pulled a metric out in here somewhere. I just click the cell I want, okay? And hit enter. Now, obviously I need to make this way bigger because you can't read it. And I'm going to obviously have to reformat all of this. The first time you connect a cell to a text box, it loses its formatting and it just matches whatever the text box formatting was. So that's what it did here. Now, here's the thing. This metric could get bigger. It's obviously not formatted right either. So we want to maybe change the formatting of this over here. So first things first, I think we want maybe like a dollar amount and then remove any zeros. Then it's even bigger. See, it's like, oh boy, now it's disappeared because it's too big to fit. So we'd have to make this bigger. Like it's a whole thing. So we really want to shorten this text. And you can use there is a way to summarize metrics. If they're always going to be positive, you can summarize them as K, M, or B for million, thousands, millions, and billions. Let me just do that real quick. So to do that, I'm going back over here and I'm going to go to custom number formats. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it this custom number format here. This is essentially just saying for ranges in 1,000, give it a K. For ranges in 1,000,000, give it a M. For ranges above, in the billions, give it a B. And that's going to shorten it up for me. And now I know it's always going to be this length. If I needed a little more granularity on this too, I could go into the custom number formatting here and add a 0 anywhere that it has a 0.0. And then it's going to give me just a little more granularity. And that is much easier to work with. Obviously, I want to change this font. We don't want to use Aptos for this. We want something sci-fi-y. I mean, honestly, we could just work with this, right? Like, this is pretty good. It's not centering itself properly, which is weird. Maybe I'll do this left. And then because we have it smaller, we can, afford to make our text a little bigger if we wanted to, etc. I know why it's not working. It's because this font doesn't have a dollar symbol as an option. So we might actually have to use another font for this. I didn't even consider that. What I might do is just use a really plain font in a heavy bold. I don't know. That might look a little weird though. I don't know. We could do something like that. That could be fine. The other thing I was thinking would be fun to do here is just like a little trend line chart. I don't know if we have any good data in here for a little trend line. We could use any of this. So I'm just going to grab one of these. We'll grab this one. I'm going to go to insert tab and drop in a line chart. And we're kind of going to butcher this line chart. So just all my data purists, don't lose your cool. Bear with me here. We're just getting fancy. We're just doing designing. You don't need to freak out about the data viz concepts here. I understand you want to, but believe me, I know this is a design exercise we're doing. Okay, cool. So I've just deleted all the elements in the chart. I'm going to change the color to that red, tone it down just a tiny bit, and then I'm going to give it a glow again, give it a red glow, and then put that in there. I don't know, something like that. I'm just kind of trying to balance the composition here. Also, I don't know, there's this little pop-up window thing. I don't know if that's showing up on the screen recorder, but I clicked on a series earlier and it's just like won't go away. This is a weird error that happens in Excel sometimes when I switch between Excel windows. Anyway, pretty cool, I think. I think I want to add some more charts in here and stuff, but like overall, I'm pretty happy with what we've got. just for some other fun chart styling stuff, let's just do a couple others. I know we have some folks who are like just here for the charts, so I figure, I got to give the people what they want. What if we do, I'm just going to start with like a simple bar chart. And then this is a good, just a nice little tip for styling your bar charts, because everybody is going to be dealing with bar charts at some point. So I've just dropped in a chart type here, cutting it, pasting it over, getting it into place, and going to delete that. Don't need that, don't need that. And so it has this white background. We don't want that, so we're going to go no fill, we're going to go no line. I'm going to get my font to match our other fonts, bigger so it's more legible. You can't really read it right now. I'll change it to our font that we're using otherwise. Maybe make it a little smaller now. And then these lines. So there's a line that you can't see it. There's one line right here. This line you can only edit by editing this section. So we're going to go here. We're going to make that line mostly transparent. Looks better. And then our grid lines, we have to select those. We can do those separately. I'm going to do those in red. And I'm going to make them dashed and a little transparent so that they kind of fade in the background. And then I'm going to give this bar here just a gradient fill. This is a very easy trick. So your gradient's got to be linear and it's got to be at 180 degrees. And on one end, we're going to do our overall theme color. Maybe we'll do it, like that. And then our other end, we're going to make the same color but transparent, 100%. And that just gives you these nice little styles here. Now, if you want, you can turn down the transparency on one end and it's going to just make those bars fill in a little better. So like right in there might work better. And then you got these nice, cool, spacey gradients. You can dial this in too to make it look a little less goofy than the way I've made it look here. But we're not going for basic here. We're going for over the top, right? So that's kind of the point. What other charts should we drop in here? Maybe we'll just do like a cool area chart too. And then we got 2 series here. This will work perfect. So select all this, select all, insert, area chart. Perfect. Cut this and paste it over. And again, we're not trying to get points for core data viz concepts here. We're doing just cool looking things. So, okay. So what I want to do with this one is I want the area chart to have a gradient fill, and I want that gradient fill to be at 90 degrees, top to bottom. And I want one side of it to be, okay. Now you can see through that there's something behind it, right? And so actually one of these we have to convert into a line. So actually I'm just going to click the one on top first, change chart type and turn it to a line chart with markers. Great. Then this one behind it I can click into more easily, turn that into the gradient fill that we want. And then the line I can click into separately and change that to the color that I want. And of course those pesky grid lines are there, so we're going to have to adjust those as well. So let me get these grid lines too. I don't know, I feel like the grid lines kind of look cool in our design here as well. So let's make those red and make them transparent like that. Okay, cool. So that gives us this kind of cool gradient chart. Now I want it to show the area part a little more. And to emphasize that, I could just turn down our transparency here, right? So then it looks a little more like an area chart. We could try to get fancy and crop some of this, but it's going to be tricky. So what I think I'm going to do is selection pane. I'm going to move this a little farther, a little farther, a little farther. Wow, I got to put this way in the back. There it is, all the way back there. And then maybe I'll just make it a little, more like this. Something like that could work. And then I have to do a lot less adjustment now. I can just kind of make this like closer to that. Select the whole thing here. Yeah, that kind of works. That's fun. I don't know. I would like to bring it all the way out here, but I'm not sure about this overlap section. I'd have to think about that. And just because I get asked about it all the time, I want to show you all how to do a smooth line chart. So I'm just going to take this one again. No, maybe we should do a separate data set. Let me copy this and paste it over here. And you can copy paste your pivot tables, by the way, and then just edit them. It saves a lot of time. Turn this into profit. Remove the quantity. Great. And then I'm going to just insert a line chart. Beautiful. And I'm going to cut this and paste it over. And we'll put it in here. Again, same process as always. Backgrounds. Remove. Just cleaning it up. And removing all the elements. For this one, we don't want any other elements for what I'm about to show here. So for whatever reason, people really like smooth line charts. So if you click into your line, you can literally just click smooth line over here in your settings and it's going to smooth it out for you. You don't need to do that in most cases, but people want to. If that's something you really need in your design, it's okay. It's something designers tend to do more than anyone else. And they tend to do it not really thinking about the fact that smooth lines imply a level of data granularity that's not there. I know I said we weren't going to talk too much about core data viz concepts, but that is one core data viz concept that is kind of important and everyone should know about. So just be a little careful with smooth lines. They're not the end of the world, but just be a little careful with them. Cool. Okay, whatever. There we go. That looks great. I don't know. Maybe just for kicks, we'll toss in a little bar chart. I'm going to change this table. Okay, so I'm going to take this table. I just need one value, not both. And then I'm going to change it from category to subcategory because that has more values. I'm just using this to build a quick bar chart. We're going to go to insert. We just click pivot chart for this one. Okay, clean all this up. Basically, I just want to show you how you can control bar charts in cool ways that people sometimes don't know about. So let me just get this in place. Same principles as we already talked about. So I don't feel like I need to keep telling you to remove lines and values and all that. Great. Get that in here. Get it so it roughly fits. So just when you click into your bars, just remember you can change width and gaps. So you can change the overlap. If you have multiple series, you can make them overlap. And then you can change the width here by just adjusting your width setting. So I want these bars maybe a little wider. Then give them a solid fill. Let's see what this looks like. Something like this. Yeah, sure, that's fine. I don't know. Could give them a glow, I guess. Oops. You have to make sure your actual series is selected, by the way. I was just adding a glow to the chart by accident instead of the actual bars. So this would have to be like a very transparent glow because it's such a small area we're working with, but I don't know, something like that could be fine. I mean, I don't love this, but like that's okay. So anyway, there you go, some basic concepts. And we got this cool, funky, weird space age red dashboard that we built. Don't make this for a corporate board meeting, obviously. This is just fun to illustrate the visual concepts, but you can do a lot with this and you can build really cool things. It's worth trying out. Yeah, bye for now, folks.